Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the foremost Kamen Rider Decade apologist. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Before we begin, thank you very much to The Avatar for joining the Patreon campaign. So, they didn't specify in the notification, are you the animated avatar, the live-action avatar, or the blue people avatar? Because two of the three, I'm not happy with. But one of you is. I'm going to assume you're the right one. So, thank you very much for pitching in and subscribing on Patreon. Thank you for helping the channel stay around. Now, this is going to be fun, because this is going to be a very large toy, and typically I don't like reviewing large toys, but this is a special occasion. Also, I have felt like after reviewing so many lists of leaks this week, I owe myself something that's just for me. So, we are going to dip into Brave once more and talk about my newest acquisition from GaoGaiGar. We have DX King Jader, the gigantic fortress from said show. So I grabbed this from a Japanese shop that advised, oh, it's used, its box is heavily damaged. The box is fine. It's scuffed a little bit, but it's fine. And the toy inside was so immaculate, the stickers hadn't even been put on in 27 years. So this is about as fresh of a King Jader as I could have ever hoped to get. I am thrilled with it. So let's actually take a look and see what GaoGaiGar was giving us for its secondary mech. As you can see here, we are currently in J-Arc mode, which is just a massive flying space fortress, essentially. And as such, it is actually smart enough to realize, hey, we don't need wings. We're just a big rocket ship. There are wings on the front. They are adjustable, so if you want something that looks a little bit more like a proper flight vehicle, you can, but not necessary. They're typically depicted at an angle like so. You do have a little bit of extra wing below the nose cone for the J-Quarth storage space. And beyond that, yeah, no real indication that this is a flying vehicle. This really could just be a very futuristic looking battleship floating on the water. We look at the rear, you can see some of the added stickering details. So you've got thrusters detailed in there. Might as well pick them up and give you a closer look. The thrusters themselves, you can see some added wiring detail in there just to make it look a little bit more connected. A little bit of mechanical detail on stickering there at the top. We start going through little bits of detail. You can see if I'm fighting with my ring light. Yeah, so the bridge itself has two different stages. There is an upper level done with a sticker and the lower level carved into the chrome. The chrome in great shape here too. Just to kind of show that chrome itself is not necessarily evil. There is only a particular way it was used in the 90s that really did not do well, especially when it was a budgeted figure. It's not universal. It's not universal. Sometimes it's absolutely fine. If we take a look here at the side, there is a sticker detailing with a lot of really intricate circuitry detailing that looks really neat. I really like integrated stuff like this. It's got kind of a gloss, kind of metallic look to it. Really nice. Yes, that sticker is placed correctly, even though it doesn't continue the line. I'm not sure why it wanted me to put the sticker there. It just did. Not really questioning it. That's how it's supposed to go. Believe me, I checked, because it's weird. I like that there's detail like that in the sculpted areas on the wings, too. That looks really nice as well. Really like detail greeble like that. On the front, you have a vaguely bird motif with the eyes stickered on, as well as a chrome beak, or in this case, I guess that's the nose cone. A little bit of a crystal here at the top as well. So lots of fun details going on. You can see the sculpted detail on this thing's crazy too. The plastic is actually off-white, which does help bring out a lot of those little sculpted mechanical details across the entire surface of the toy. Really cool to see. Really cool to see. Good attention to how that would look. And then, yeah, you've got the 4 mounted cannons at the top. All these can hinge 90 degrees up and down. They can all rotate 360 degrees. So you got plenty of ways of shooting bad guys. So It is going to clash if you rotate it too much, but, you know, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The toy itself, aside from just being gigantic, it is on wheels. You can see the black wheels on the underside here, so you can roll it along the ground, so you're not going to scrape anything up. So nice little features, of course. Beyond that, though, not terribly big on play value here. It really is just getting across. It's just one gigantic vehicle. And I'm going to size comparison once we get to robot mode so you can see just how gigantic the toy ended up being. But we can take a look at some of the other things that it's capable of doing. So for starters, let's start decompressing this a little bit. I'm going to pop this section off. And what we have here is Jaybird, which is marketed as a separate flying vehicle. It is absurd in its design as a flying vehicle. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest here. It's just a robot with his arms up and his legs out. It doesn't really strike me as a separate vehicle, even though it is sold as one, it is marketed as one, and it has its own name. So we're going with it. But yeah, it really is just the command section just popped off and you can fly it around on its own. Not a huge deal there. So let's go ahead and transform him into Jader robot mode. It's a 90s toy. It's from 1997. And remember, this is, you know, for kids Japanese robot aesthetics, so don't expect too much in the articulation department or the complexity. So legs are already done. Fold the arms out from those massive green shoulder guards. Go ahead and give them a bend just so they look okay. And for the head, just flip that up. And simple as that, yeah, you've got Jader, the small robot of King Jader. Using the head crest for the larger robot as a chest, that's a very brave aesthetic. That really is something. If you ever see a robot that just has this obnoxiously huge chest crest, either as like big wings or the head of a lion, start assuming that it's a brave design. That's a general rule. It's not going to steer you wrong too often. It's not just a good starting place. It's an interesting little design here because, like, obviously that green stands out so much. It's all in the upper part of the body. It doesn't extend down to the midsection or the legs at all. Everything else is carrying through that red, silver, and black aesthetic. Which, you know what? I mean, it's my channel colors. This encompasses me. My channel colors are red and black with a little bit of gold. But, man, I wish I had picked green. Why didn't I pick green? Point being, it's not a bad look. I mean, it's definitely different than GaoGaiGar and the other bots, but that's the intent. He's supposed to look a little bit different because he's not a G-Stone bot. He's a J-Jewel bot. Give you the close-up of the head, which I have to kind of shimmy around the ring light to give you. Not the most complicated of head designs. You do have some interesting little horn ears there. You've got the head crest where the J-Jewel rests. Big visor, kind of plain face. Remember, these are not independent these are not independent robots with their own personality. Not Jader and not King Jader either. Those are piloted. So it doesn't have to show too much expression. You can just kind of look like a robot, and that's perfectly fine. Articulation-wise, you do have the shoulders that move up and down. The chest is going to get in the way. What we do for our fashion choices, you can still click the shoulders upward to give them somewhat of a weird universal motion, and the elbows themselves can reach 90 if there was nothing getting in the way, but in most positions something does. Beyond that, yeah, not a whole lot of new detail exposed here. We saw most of it as Jaybird, and you're going to see a lot more of it properly as Jader, or King Jader rather. So no real need to go into too much there. Okay, so we need to transform the big guy, and you will excuse me because this is a lot, and it's going to be very difficult to film the whole thing. So I'm going to start by removing the legs from the upper section. Go ahead and raise those arms up, flip the head down like so, and then the entirety of the chest slides up. I I really like how the mask on King Jader actually makes for a pretty good and well-detailed midsection, or like belly region for a smaller robot. That's kind of clever dual usage for the design. Okay, with that, we're going to set that aside, fully knowing I'm not doing this in the most epic way possible, which in itself goes against the tenets of GaoGaiGar, but efficiency in reviewing kind of speaks there. All right, so we're going to want the arms to look like so, and then flip the hands out. The official transformation says to flip the guns forward. You can leave them the other way if you prefer it that way, but realize you're going to shoot into his foot if you do that, so that's up to you as far as like what the cannons do. All right, so nice and simple. We'll go ahead and do it on the other side. Yep, nothing to it. Nothing to it. Real easy transformation steps. Yeah, this is not nearly as complicated as some of the other bots in this series. You know, they were just specifically going for, wow, he's real big. And indeed, he is real big. So, to transform him, go ahead and pop the sides off and fold them all the way down into what will become his legs. Like so. We'll lift this up. Get ready for some audio, or I might just mute this altogether because this is where you can hear the 27 years of age on this toy. Ugh, creaky plastic. Fortunately, only one does that. And to be honest, last time I did it, it was way worse than that, so you got off lucky. All right, so fold the front section down 90 degrees. Start combining. Gonna go ahead and put one arm on that side, one arm on this side, and the head. Proper combination of a Japanese robot says the head has to go last. You just have to. There's no option. And that's going to give me King Jader in robot mode. However, give me a minute. So here's the part where it's really frustrating to review large figures because now I have to stand really far from it in order to get the whole thing in shot. And you can even see the microphone that's picking up the audio. Aren't I the most professional person in the room? So this is King Jader in his fully combined robot mode. And yeah, he is an impressive specimen of mid-90s plastic. So I mentioned he's big. So here's a standard size transformer. That's your standard deluxe. That's how big King Jader is. Properly huge. I mean, I'm thinking somewhere around like original Cybertron Metroplex, maybe a little shorter than that. If I'm equating him to a modern figure, I can't. He's taller than any that come to mind right now. Like we're talking like he might be a little bit bigger than even a Combiner War Combiner, if I'm really being honest here. It's a massive, massive piece of plastic. And yeah, super cool design. So the nice thing about this, as far as like just doing a review, there's not a whole lot of new detail going on with King Jader. So it's not like I'm really going to have to go over too much new. I will give you a good close-up shot of the head now that that is fully revealed. Once again, we've got a J-Jewel as the crest. That massive chest has now become a massive head crest. And those big shoulders now just kind of flow in with it to create this really weird looking head. Just to, hang on, there we go. Make sure that's locked in place properly. Yeah, big green ears is not something I would typically look for in a giant robot. But you know what? It works for Jader, so I'm not going to give any complaints to it. I kind of like the fact that it stands out a little bit. But overall, yeah, it's a cool design. And you can see a little bit of the GaoGaiGar aesthetic in that mouth plate, how it kind of is shaped to have something of a tooth design to it. Another detail I really like the black highlights around the eyes to make those pop. Like, that's actually really cool, and they kind of forget to do that sometimes. In this mode, the real details you can see here mostly come from the stuff that was on the underside, so we get to see a little bit more stickering detail. Nothing terribly exciting, just a little bit of basic hits of red and silver here and there. A little bit of black on the outside of the hands, rather. And then, yeah, you can see just a lot of extra tech greeble that's in the surface all the way across, going all the way down the body. Yeah, nothing terribly exciting going on. I do like how minimalistic it's kept, and a lot of the sculpted detail is allowed to just kind of be there. It does kind of give it this sensation of just being absolutely huge, which is really what I think this should be going for. And I have to remember to speak up because the microphone's so far away and I don't want to have to do much audio adjusting. Speaking of adjusting, he does have some points of articulation. The head actually does rotate left and right all the way around. Cool that they managed to include that. The shoulders are actually universal. They are heavily ratcheted in both directions, so it's a little bit limited in the spots you can actually position the arm in, but it's nice and stiff. You also have an elbow joint that works pretty well. Again, it's a soft ratchet, but ratcheted nonetheless, so you have a limited amount of spots it can move in. And that's pretty much your lot. So keep in mind, the big deal in toys in Japan in the mid-90s was Super Sentai, so they don't really need to pack in a ton of articulation on these guys, even at a time when Transformers was starting to do that with the Beast figures. But for what it is pretty spectacular, pretty impressive piece overall. If we want a bit of accessory play, we can have that, because obviously the J-Quarth pops out, and then you can mount it into his hand from the inside. Exact same positioning as it was in the anime. So, yeah, I described this once as a bow, and someone gave me a lot of grief. It's not a bow, it's the J-Quarth. I know what it is, but you look at that and tell me that doesn't look like a bow. Point being, his bow looks really nice. I mean, really, about the only thing we can actually say against him is the fact that, yeah, in the anime, his proportions are a lot better, but at the same time, to have the functionality that it does, you're not going to be able to avoid that. I mean, the Jaybird alone completely shrinks down in order to make the head the size that it is in the anime. So you're not going to get a whole lot out of that anyway. It is what it is. And I think for what it is, it's a really cool figure. Definitely more simple than things like the symmetrical Dockers or even Mike Sounders, but I think for what it is, big, impressive piece and real standout on a Brave shelf. So that is DX King Jader. Probably the start of me going back and rediscovering DX GaoGaiGar toys. Hint, it's not the only one that I got. Whether or not we'll see reviews of the others, haven't decided yet. Might depend on how this one goes. So, let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you want to see more, let me know. And as always, I will see you next time.